Hey guys, it's Joshua with Think Liberty, and today we're joined by Nicholas Veser. Nicholas is the executive producer of Liberty Link Media Group, an absolute champion of Liberty who took his 20 years of experience in front of and behind the camera and has channeled it into the production company behind the daily headlines you see every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Being Libertarian. But that's only the beginning. So how you doing today, Nicholas?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Not a problem at all. Why don't we start off a little bit about your journey to the Liberty movement and what brought you to where you are today?
Sure. Yeah, I've always leaned libertarian. I grew up, most of my family, they were liberal, and I always was a nonconformist, always wanted to go against the grain a little bit. So I was always, and a contrarian. So I was always looking at different things, the null hypothesis, nothing really seemed right to me. So for most of my 20s and 30s, I really stayed apolitical. I voted a little bit, but I didn't do much more than that. I'm a firm believer that until it happens to you, it's really difficult to understand fully just how much of a problem government overreach really is.
Right.
And that happened to me November of 2014. I was subpoenaed by an enforcement agency. First of all, I had invested in a business, and I was a silent investor. And I learned a very important lesson. That's that you should never invest in something that you don't really care about and you're not interested in. It was technology. I could care less about IT. It wasn't my thing. And I wanted, and I kept in the business. That's what I did. I used a third-party vendor to get our clients for us and send them to us. And we really wanted to keep everything on the up and up. Unfortunately, we got wrapped up in this whole enforcement action with the state of Florida. And the company that was getting leads for us, sending us the leads, referrals, warm referrals, they should have been the one who was targeted. But since they were a huge global $500 million publicly traded company that was in bed with the state agency, they didn't take anything. Nothing came to them. Everything came down on me, even though we had no complaints. It was a spotless record.
Right.
But because the powers that, unfortunately, I learned that too late. So several months went by, and no matter how hard I fought, no matter what I did, everything that I did, every step that I took, they did something else to put their foot on my jugular. And it got to the point where it was almost, the response was vindictive. It was angry. It was, how dare you fight us? How dare you tell us we're wrong? How dare you do that? That was the attitude that I got from them. And it disgusted me. And I thought it was better to spend every single dollar I had fighting them. And literally, to the point, my lawyer for the past year has worked for free because he's so disgusted by what they did, because it would just worse. So they killed my spirit, crushed it, to the point where I was incapable of doing anything else. I couldn't go. I had spent 15 years in the television industry. I couldn't go back. I couldn't do anything. So people would ask me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do? And I couldn't do anything. Like I didn't have an interest in anything anymore. Everything was dead to me. And it occurred to me that this experience, combined with all of my knowledge about liberty and just my personal feelings about the world and government, the way everything works, and my knowledge of production, there was only one natural place for that to be. So now I look at the whole experience as it was necessary. It was all necessary because it brought me to where we are today. But it's not over. It gets me angry. Like if the adrenaline that rushes through me, I don't get nerves. Like I don't get nervous adrenaline. I get anger adrenaline, and I'm getting that right now. And it usually ruins an interview. But anyway, We'll keep going.
Rant on, man. It's okay.
No,
Absolutely.
it's all right, man. It's all right. We can go on to some of the better, more positive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did Liberty Link Media come about? What were the foundational steps that you took for your media outlet?
Right. So my wife and I, we got really interested in the Gary Johnson campaign in 2016. I personally had always leaned libertarian, and despite sometimes my voting for the lesser of two evils and that kind of thing, I knew who Gary Johnson was from 2012. My wife, not so much, but she started looking into it, and it only made sense. And we really got excited about everything we were hearing. Unfortunately, what turned us off most from the party in 2016, when we were watching what was going on, was the the perceived lack of professionalism. Not that there was a lack of professionalism. There was plenty of professionalism within the movement, and I know that now. But there was a perceived lack of profession. Um, and unfortunately, we knew that the only way to really make a difference was to start. Fortunately, I should say, was to start a production company that we could use all of the skills, all of the tools that I had, built up over a long career. Her insight and her knowledge. She's a psychologist, and she, ironically, has worked in the court systems her whole life. So she really knew. She knew everything about it going in, and it was the natural fit to be able to bring a more professional look and feel to the content that was coming out of the Liberty movement.
Nice, nice. So what would you consider your role to be inside the Liberty movement?
So that's a good question. Obviously the daily headlines are activism. I think that's probably the best way to put it. It's a lot of time to put into activism, but it is and it's not. We probably put 3 to 4 hours total, write, shoot, edit into them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But so that's one side of it. But more than anything, I'm a production guy and I'm a businessman. So I see myself as a promoter, a brand developer, a brand strategist, a content producer, and somebody who can, if you've got what it takes, enhance that through the power of video, through content, all of that stuff. And then in addition to that, be able to use my voice and my ability as an activist to get the word out.
Nice. So what has been the most successful tools you've used to build your brand?
So the daily headlines were not. We did not set out to do those. That's the funny part about it. We started the company to be a production company for the movement, and I met early on Dustin Carrot, who works with me, and we were bouncing ideas off each other, and we both had an interest in doing a couple of different things with content. We knew that we would work well together, and I was looking for somebody that I really, really felt I could jive with, like totally be on the same wavelength with on everything. Not always ideologically, but just what we're trying to accomplish production wise, and and it just kind of came together one day. We were talking about it, and we figured, okay, this can accomplish two things. One, it can be a leading voice of activism for libertarianism, but even better, it can brand the company and it can let people know that we're out there and we do what we do.
Nice. So your content, it really has a good balance of very informative stuff. It's a nice digestible message for most people, even outside of the Liberty movement. And then it's also hilarious. So how do you strike the balance between newsworthy and entertaining?
Thank you. That's what we said. That's what we look to accomplish. I think it's there. So if we have I wouldn't say that it's a formula that we follow, but we are close to a formula where we know, okay, we want to address this topic. We want to make sure that when we're addressing this topic, we hit on key elements of libertarianism. And then at the end, there has to be some sort of call to action. There has to be something that says, so do something about it, do something about it, get up, do something about it. I also I can be fairly animated. People who know me in my personal life also know that I can be very low key. So it's a little dichotomous that way. And I think that probably helps with the up and down nature of the serious to comedic, because I can go into that thing.
Yeah, right.
yeah, pretty easily. So
nice. What would you say are the most important issues facing the liberty movement currently? Maybe some that we're missing, or ones that we are at the forefront of the arguments.
Sure. Okay. Growing pains. I think Larry Sharp hit on this recently. He's absolutely right. We are experiencing growing pains. We are in the middle of anytime an organization, a company, anything grows very quickly, and we are the fastest growing political party in the country. Whenever that happens, there's first of all, the Peter principle, which is people rise to the level of their own incompetence. But there's also that idea of, as when you get to a certain point, you got to know what to do to take it to the next level. If you're a publicly traded company, you just do your IPO and you get to a certain point, and all of a sudden you need to lock down a CFO, a CTO, everything, and make sure that your ship is 100% ready to go to battle. If you don't do that at that stage, at that tipping point in the organization, that's the difference between a failing organization and a winning organization. And that's where we are. We're at that growth point, that 3 to 5% saturation point, where if you reach 5%, you really reach 5%, then that can quickly go to 15% if you put all of the things in order. If you get consultants in place, if you get professional media people in place. You can't continue to be grassroots forever. You have to eventually realize, okay, if we're going to do this, and we're going to actually, like Larry Sharp is doing, in my opinion, he's about to run a campaign the way it needs to be run, and I believe he's going to do that. And that is absolutely 100% one of the things that we need to be doing right now. The second thing is that we need to stop thinking and caring and worrying about, like, it's ridiculous, man. I'm every single time somebody starts a philosophical debate with me online, I'm like, I'm done, dude. I don't want anything to do with it because it's ridiculous. I don't care. Yes, you might have a great point, but nobody else cares. So it doesn't, just stop it. Stop talking about it. It's ridiculous.
Right. And that actually plays into the next question. So alternatively to that, what do you see as the most unproductive or least important issues that we may be too focused on and arguing over as a group?
Yeah, so how libertarian somebody is, whether or not somebody has this person, Austin Peterson, he's running as a Republican. Okay, that's it. End of conversation. Let's do something else. It doesn't matter. There's nothing, whatever Austin decided to do, that's Austin's decision, whatever, move on. Anarchy versus minarchy. We're not even close to minarchy. It doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter yet. If you are arguing something, I get this all the time. I get a lot of young people will message me and say, "Hey, what do you think about this? If we privatize the police force and we do this, and and they would get a stipend from this," and I'm like, that's so far past where we're even possibly at this point. And it's fine. You can have it's a mental exercise. Obviously, it's good to get your thoughts going, but I only care about, I got to a point at some point in my career where I decided, if I'm not moving the company forward, the cause forward, whatever it is that I'm working towards forward, then it's not a worthwhile conversation to me. And that might irritate some people, but that's just, I think that we spend too much time on nothing. And we also probably need to be putting more energy into the right things, which
Right.
you didn't really ask, but at some point I would imagine you might. So
Yeah. So a lot of that infighting that we see today is between the left and the right, leaning libertarians, right? So I know your team at Liberty Link Media has some libertarians who lean both left and right.
mhm.
Given the current political arguments in the movement, how are you able to maintain a productive and civil environment?
So I would be the right libertarian. We even have I won't tell you which one, but we there's a staff member of ours that is almost flat out like Bernie, like he, I think he's off the Bernie train, but he's a Democrat. And he doesn't work with us on a daily basis, but he does a lot of work with us. And um, it's what I love about having him on the team is that he's that outside voice. He's that person who can look at whatever we're doing and put a totally different spin on it, or see it from the target demographic of the disenfranchised Democrat. So it's awesome. So I'm the right libertarian. Dustin is more of a left libertarian. My wife is even further right libertarian than I am. So the this is my feeling on the matter. If right left libertarian is such a myth, once you get libertarianism, like you really get libertarianism, and you can really truly consider yourself a libertarian, you shouldn't get it. Doesn't None of that matters at all anymore, because, like, yes, Dustin may speak sometimes in a way that sounds a little more social justice warrior-ish than me, but we still have the same ideas, and that's how we work together. That's how we jive, because it we can have two different views on an issue, but at the end of the day, it still comes back to the same view, which is less government, less interference, less ruling over our lives.
Right. So, what would you say are the biggest challenges that you face when you're trying to communicate the message of liberty?
Biggest challenges I face when I'm trying. Well, okay, so we have a benefit in being able to sit there and really think of what we're going to be talking about that day. And believe it or not, we shoot them really quickly. We usually take 20 minutes to shoot a headline. But the biggest challenge is sometimes, trying to find that balance between what that person who knows nothing about liberty, nothing about freedom wants to hear, and what you, who is a libertarian, wants to hear. That's a really tough balance and I still think that most of the time we're still in an echo chamber. That sucks, but most of the time we're still in an echo chamber. I would love for more people who weren't libertarians to watch what we're doing and take it in and realize how sensible it is. But yeah, that's probably the most difficult, is trying to find something that appeals to both.
Right. So, does the fact that you are publicly in videos of being libertarian get you contacted constantly by internet troll warriors?
Yeah, but I don't mind. Like I don't think that I could probably count on one hand the amount of people that have actually irritated me at all. Most of the time, yeah, sometimes there's people who just want to disagree with me or send me a message, and sometimes it's just people who want to say, "Hey, good job." But I love that. Like I always like chatting with people. Anybody who has sent me a message will tell you that I respond to them usually within an hour. I'm there, I like talking about how to spread the message. I don't like getting all crazy, like all philosophical and heady about everything, but I love talking about spreading the message. So some guy, Mark Kibler, who I chat with every once in a while, he's on our page a lot, message me tonight a video that he just did, and it's awesome. It's his style, it's his thing, and it's
smoking a cigarette. I saw the video.
Oh, you saw it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was great, dude. I was like, that's great, man. Absolutely. So I don't know, more of that. I love that, man.
Awesome. So it's obviously very important for you to see the national growth of the movement, and some may say that that's your main focus. Would you say it's as important or more important to grow the movement locally as opposed to just throwing all our eggs in the national basket?
I think that they have equal importance. However, I am one of those people that is very, very much, and again, maybe it's again where my focus is national myself, but let's just put it this way. If you don't have somebody out there delivering the message on a national level to as many people as possible, if you don't have somebody doing that, then you're never going to get those people who are sitting in their house who may be interested and willing to open their minds to libertarianism, go out to the local meeting. So you can have as many local warriors as you can possibly get in these groups, and and sort of just pick away at. But until you get somebody on the national level who can deliver the message, like they're a presidential candidate, only on off years, constantly just out there in the media, getting. That's why I think that the right now there's a position for the LP, the Libertarian Party, of press secretary. It's an absolutely critical position because somebody needs to be out there delivering the message on national, regional, local TV that's going to get everybody else excited about liberty. It's like what Ron Paul did for liberty, but now for the Libertarian Party and younger, and that can really just make it happen. And that's what we need. That's what we need. That's going to fill up local meetings faster than anything else. I guarantee it.
Nice. Have you looked into applying for that job by any chance?
No. I mean, unfortunately, I suggest that they make the right decision with that. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So you're pretty well known in the libertarian movement and community at this point. You got any inkling to want to run for any office or anything like that coming up in the future?
No, I'm not a politician, man. Like I've seen the dirty side of our government, and I want to change that more than anything. But it's going to be you. If you ever see me run for office, then you know that things have gotten really bad or something. I don't know what would drive me to do it, but no, I have no plans to do it.
I mean, things are pretty bad already.
I know they are. They're terrible. But yeah, absolutely. We do agree on that. It would take a lot. It would take a lot, I want to help. I want to help other people, man. I want to help Larry Sharpe get elected as the first libertarian governor. Right. And don't get me wrong, I would take a media position in a libertarian government, but it's just, I'm not a politician. I shoot straight, man. I shoot really straight. I don't know, like, I look at a lot. I look at a lot of politicians, even libertarian politicians, and they're just.
They know how to curve around the corner when they need to, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of things as a media host and owner of a media publication and company, what kind of stuff can you do for candidates? What kind of stuff can you help them with?
Yeah. So we will do videos, commercials. We work with Jen Gray of the Leading Liberty podcast, and she, we've been trying to put some package stuff together with her. Obviously, we distribute all of our content through Being Libertarian as well as Liberty Link Media Group, and that's an expanding distribution list. And the candidates that we have worked with have seen definitely their profile raise, and it's very early on in the process for some of them as well. We work with a lot of organizations too. We just signed on with Young Americans for Liberty, and we're doing a really big project for them. We're going to be at YAL-CON next week, so we're very excited about that. We produced a YAL-CON open video that's already complete and ready to go, launch next week. So yeah, and for candidates especially, we really tried to provide a very high quality, high end service for a fraction of what most high end production companies would charge. So, but again, that is the case. If we're ever going to be taken seriously as a political party, we have to realize that we're going to have to start paying for good stuff. That's the way
absolutely.
it is.
We got to be able to contend with the duopoly, which is something that we haven't done in the past, and I think it feels to me like we're getting a lot closer these days, and that makes me really happy. So
it does feel like that, doesn't it? I try to step out of it from because we get so wrapped up in everything. You're in that, oh yeah, everybody's a libertarian, but I've seen some surprising things from some of my friends and family, and just people that I would have never expected to really be talking the way they are.
Right. Yeah, I would say the current political climate is pushing people in all kinds of crazy directions, and we got a really big net ready to catch everyone who wants to come this way.
Yeah, exactly, man. Absolutely. But we got to be ready for them when they come. We can't be sitting at the meetings and being like, no, you're not libertarian enough. You don't know what you're talking about. And,
you haven't read Rothbard. Get out.
Yeah, exactly. And it is so common, unfortunately. But
and I think a lot of people don't understand that those arguments that they see online when they first try to go to their first libertarian group or page, that's a very small fraction of the libertarians, that especially the ones in the party. So
yeah, exactly. And I hope people do realize that most people out there, that's why you're not going to find a fight with me most of the time. There's a couple of people out there that have desperately would love to fight with me, and I wouldn't even give them the satisfaction,
Right. Yeah, you don't seem like the type. So besides the YAL-CON, you got anything that we can expect from you in the future from the media group?
Right. So there's a couple. Yeah, I mean, first of all, in addition to YAL-CON, we're going to be doing some campus profile pieces and some student profile pieces with YAL. I don't know if you saw recently, we Libertarian Party released a fundraising video. We put myself on as the front and back bumpers, and we produced a video, and that was really to be able to raise funds for the party and to be able to turn that around and say, okay, now we can use that, and hopefully if people actually donated, and obviously we're all advocates for voluntary, a voluntary society, so you would think that people would be doing that. But okay, so if people are donating, then they can start putting together some of the content that I've been arguing for a very long time is absolutely necessary, which is training videos for candidates, putting out weekly or daily updates on libertarianism or news and how the Libertarian Party. Because if I can do what I do, and then you can quadruple that for the Libertarian Party if you've got somebody who's doing that in a spokesperson or whatever type role and communicating libertarian values and relating those to current news issues. That's going to reach a ton of people. It should just be happening. But yeah, several candidates that we're continuing to work with, and some candidates, and some really excited about, even and a potential thing going on up in New York too, that we're really looking in the city that we're really hoping that we can do. So, but it's all through being libertarian. As well, so they're our distribution partner. Everything that we do with them, we distribute through being libertarian as well as Liberty Link Media Group. So we're reaching a lot of eyeballs that way.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great platform to start at for sure. So,
yep, absolutely.
Plug any websites or events that you got coming up that you want people to go look at?
No, pay attention next week to everything we're going to be live streaming. Keynote speakers: Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Justin Amash, Glenn Kane Jacobs and Judge Napolitano, all from YAL-CON. And we're going to, obviously being libertarian.com, libertylinkmedia.com, facebook.com/both. And yeah, just thanks for having me on, man.
Hey, not a
I
problem.
love talking liberty.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check us out on Facebook at Think Liberty, the website at think-liberty.com, and hit that subscribe button on the Think Liberty TV YouTube channel for early releases, exclusive content, and also check out our sponsor at anarchothreads.com, because if you love liberty so much, you should probably wear it. Thanks again, Nicholas.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Take it easy. All right, there you are. Oh, that was way cooler than the water bottle. Okay.